welcome to post-quarantine art chat. Today we're chatting with Rebecca from Flair by Rebecca Crosland, a cutting-edge creative hairstylist from Perth, Western Australia. Beck happens to be one of my very good friends and so talented that on my wedding day I gave her free rein to create a hairstyle for me on the day. What she designed was beyond anything I could have imagined. To this day, I'm still absolutely in love with my styling on my wedding day. Actually, I have a photo too.
Ah, oh, that's so beautiful. I love
that. And on the other side, I had this amazing French braid, which I don't happen to have a close-up of right now, but it was amazing anyway. Beck has a wealth of experience in her field and is a beautiful creative soul. As all of Beck's clientele know, she is both a master at her craft and an absolute gem to be around. So, Beck, thank you so much for joining us.
Creatives cry far too often, I think.
Oh, cute.
That's so kind of you. It's like a mutual appreciation society because your work is amazing and I absolutely love everything you do. So, and it was like an honour to be with you on your wedding day. So, yeah. That was kind of the early days of meeting you as well. So
it was.
I hadn't known you for very long. I'd known Carl, but not really you. So it was cool that we were able to like combine our little creative worlds. And
it's amazing how many people I met on my wedding day that I'm actually now really good friends with.
I know.
What happens when you move state and just get married?
Hilarious.
Anyway, so firstly, how are you? How's your family? Are you all well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm good. My family's well. We've all got through navigating this little crazy patch of time, I think, pretty seamlessly. Yeah. I think in WA we're pretty fortunate because it hasn't hit as major as we were probably expecting it to. Everything escalated so quickly. I think as far as family goes, like I was out of work, but then my husband, Sam, he was able to like keep going with his work and it was probably busier than ever. My mum, she hasn't been working for a little while due to an injury that she has. So she's just been keeping herself safe and sound. And then my brother and his partner and my little niece, they have continued to work. Like it's probably been better in some respects because my brother's fly in, fly out. So instead of week on, week off, it was like 2 weeks on and then more time at home with the family. So that was quite special.
That's good.
Especially having a little, reasonably new baby. My little niece Luna's only a year and a half. So I think that was quite crucial, lovely family time. And then for my dad, that's probably the only stress that I've had because he lives in America with my stepmom.
Okay.
And so America is obviously crazy.
Story, yeah.
And been quite financially, I think, tricky for them. But they have property in Alabama. So they're right down south. I haven't visited them since he's lived there. Yeah. But obviously I worry about him staying well and safe. Yeah. And I think all the riots happening over there as well.
Yeah.
Adds another little, hurdle.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Get through safely. So yeah. But otherwise, I've enjoyed the downtime.
Yeah.
As I feel a bit guilty saying that. Like, obviously, it's been a bit stressful as well.
Yeah.
But there has been some nice things that has come from it, like being able to, like, reevaluate what you want to rush back to and what you don't want to rush back to and what works and maybe what doesn't. And it's been a good time to, like, reset and explore new avenues or learn more. Like, I've learned a lot from other creatives in the industry as well. So, yeah.
Yep.
Going okay.
I understand that guilt thing because I think in the first official week of lockdown, my husband Carl and I were in the backyard doing jazz swing lessons on YouTube.
Cute. Oh, I love that.
That was how we spent our time. We were having a ball.
Why not? That's fabulous.
So we've been having karaoke during the day. While he's at work, because we share our studio now. We have midweek dance off.
Love it. With TikTok?
Not with TikTok. With he got me an Xbox because I've been negative about it. So we got an Xbox and the Just Dance show thing. Game is on there. So we've been having like an hour of that, which is like our workout for the week. And life's been great, but then, you know, there's so much misery going around. You feel so guilty, but you kind of know there's nothing you can do either. So you just try and make the most of what you've got.
I think being in WA, there is, it can be a little bit like if you don't turn on the news, it's a little bit like ignorance is bliss. And then when you do turn on the news and you see what's happening in America, what's happening in Italy, what's happening in China and Japan, and, you know, even over East, it's quite terrifying. Like, it's a really big shock to the system if you've had a few days away from watching reality, I think.
That's
so. Yeah. And seeing like friends lose jobs and seeing, you know, other creatives having work cancelled, that has been really disturbing and stressful and scary for people. But I think rallying together, like what we're doing now, is probably, you know, it brings a bit of hope, and it makes everyone realise that they're not in the world by themselves. They're actually in a collective, new, unusual environment. So
I was actually having this discussion with someone the other day about depression, and that it's okay to go there and grieve, and it's okay to go there and take as long as you need, but don't stay there. You know, like, it's okay to go there. We all will get there at some point in life, and we'll have our losses and difficulties, but don't stay there. Just make your way out.
Like riding those little waves of highs and lows. And
it's easy to say and much harder to do, but I think, you know, like you say, if we keep, you know, connecting and assisting each other and making sure that we're built up so that we can support the people who are really struggling as well, and then we can all kind of go through it together.
I think I've found it really interesting because everyone has reacted to this in different ways according to their own personal circumstances. So there has been some really horrible moments that I am aware of, like, that have happened with personal friends and things like that during this little patch of time. But then there's been people who have really thrived through this patch of time as well. So I have been really keeping like a really good thought in mind, just to take it one day at a time and to try and not be anxious, because it's easier said than done. But if you do just focus on that 24-hour space, then, I mean, at the moment we haven't been able to plan anything. We've got no jobs. We haven't been able to do anything. So it's been easier to probably live in a 24-hour space. But those stresses that we all would be facing about work and family and health and surviving through this would still be there. But you can't worry about what's tomorrow's going to bring, because
absolutely, we just
don't know. No one knows. Every day was changing. When this all escalated, it was like you turn on the news in the morning, and then by the evening it was like a whole different set of regulations or restrictions. So
and I think, in, like you said, in Western Australia, things are we've had it pretty easy, and I think Australia as a whole seems to be taking some kind of lesson out of some other countries that have really struggled and got on top of it pretty quick.
Yes.
And now we're sort of starting to come out of this really dark cloud, but we're also kind of seeing the damage that's been done. So it's like, you know, the upside is we're starting to come out of it now, and things are slowly going back to normal. But for the same token, you can see the mess that we're now in, you know, like you say, job losses and what's next. And I think that's that.
Especially being in a recession now. We're in an official recession.
Yeah.
So we may not be feeling the effects of that right now, but that will definitely be prevalent, I'd say, in the next few months. So
Okay, so in terms of work, for those who aren't acquainted with your work, can you just give us a little rundown of what your job is and your approach to your work?
Okay, so I am a freelance hair and makeup artist. As you know, I do wedding hair as well, so I get to be with my clients and friends on special moments before they walk down the aisle. So you get to create beautiful bespoke looks, and I really enjoy that creativity. It probably is the most stressful inducing time of my whole career, because you know that the wedding day, everyone wants everything to be perfect. So there is a creative side of you that knows you can, like, there's probably a doubt that comes in from being creative, although you know you can do a really great job. There's that probably for me is the most anxiety causing experience, doing wedding hair. But then on the flip side, I look at photos and I see my friends walk down the aisle and I'm like, unbelievable. I can't believe I did that. But then at the same stage, I'm like, wow, I've done all the training to get to this place. So I know that I can do it. But there's definitely moments where, yeah, your creativity like doubts your ability sometimes. But that is definitely one of my favorite things to do, is create beautiful hair for brides. The other thing that I love doing, as being a freelancer, I'm very fortunate in the fact that I don't work in a big commercial salon anymore. So instead of having to just choose the colouring aspect or the cutting and styling aspects, I actually get to combine everything in my craft, and that's really fun. So I get to create visions and then, you know, do beautiful hair for clients from the start, from the minute they walk in the salon to the time they leave. So I don't employ apprentices or anything. So my client gets a very individualised, bespoke, personalised service, and I love that. I also work with a team of freelancers. So there's 4 other girls that we collectively share our space, and we collectively share all the running costs of our space as well. So there's a business side, there's a creative side. We have a very good affiliation with all the brands that we support, like Cloud9 and Weller. So we're very fortunate to be quite involved in the hair community as well. And I think that's basically covered what I do.
I don't know if I've told you about it or not, but I used to work in the wedding industry. I used to have a floral studio in Melbourne. Yeah, and I remember going into it thinking, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, it's going to be so stressful. And honestly, like, yes, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go down to Footscray Market to haggle with this Italian men over the price of flowers before I've had coffee was hard. It was so hard. But honestly, yeah, the stress and the worry, those 3 days between, you know, just organizing my studio and then starting to buy the flowers, get the flowers ready, and then deliver them on the day. The stress was like, I would be sweating bullets on that day. But the relief I got, I think it's that moment when I'd walk in the door and deliver the flowers and all the girls light up and the bride comes and says, oh, they're better than I imagined and everything. They were all happy. I think I never had a bad experience with my flowers, with my wedding flowers. I didn't do it for long. I think I was doing it for about 1.5 years. But honestly, during that time, it was so stressful, but so worth it. Like at the end, and like you say, seeing the photos and all that. It's so nice to be a part of someone's special day.
So nice to be a part of people's special day. But I also think it's so beautiful on a salon floor as well. Like you have your client come in and you know, you put them through this funny experience with colour all over their head and foil sticking here, there and everywhere. And I'm like, don't worry, you're going to look amazing at the end. And they feel $1 million and they're like, I need to go for coffee now. I need to go. Like, where's my hot date? Like, you know, it's really nice to see someone's like, they often come in and they might be tired or they've dropped their kids or they've had a hard night or whatever. And then by the time they leave, they're,
like
feeling refreshed. And I think the joy that you get from helping other people feel like their best self, even though it's like aesthetics, you get to go on a beautiful hair journey with them. And so you get to share these really intimate moments with them. You get to go through their good times and their bad times. And I think even in this experience of COVID, I have been working for myself in my own business for nearly 10 years this September. So it's a pretty big double-digit milestone coming up. And the journey that I've spent with some of those clients doing their hair, either in the salon or weddings or in and around, I've managed to stay connected with pretty much everyone I've worked with or on as a client. And they kind of become, you're always going to be professional. So there's always that like kind of limit. But at the same stage, they cross over into this beautiful friendship as well. And that breeds a beautiful loyalty. And I think
your own little community.
Yeah, it's a little community. And we've actually all rallied together. Like we've sent beautiful stuff. We've sent beautiful memes to each other and we've made each other laugh. And we've stayed connected, even though I haven't been in the salon by choice, even though the government didn't close us down. We've stayed connected, even though we've been apart. And we've made each other laugh and we've shared beautiful, soulful, you know, little scriptures, or we've shared beautiful thoughts or like a positive thought for the day or I do have an Arbonne business as well, and with that we've done like a self-care Sunday, and people have just turned up with a cup of tea or a glass of wine, and we've put on a face mask, and they might have been my hair clients that have never necessarily used Arbonne, but we've just rallied together, and it's been nice.
Yeah. And so with the restrictions that came into effect, like how did you personally meet those challenges and all the other things that have sort of been a consequence of that in the last few months?
Yeah, well, I think basically it was interesting to like try and figure out how we were going to navigate around paying for the salon as a space. We need to pay a month in advance, so you also have to give a month notice if you're going to close. So there was an element of how many months can we ride this?
Yeah.
Is there anything that the government can kind of help to assist us? But then that wasn't guaranteed either, because there's obviously a lot of like criteria that you have to meet for that. So challenges, the government never shut us down. Some creators found that really disrespectful. It was annoying. If it had been shut down from the government, I would have been able, like we all would have been able to get rent relief, but we couldn't, so we still had to pay full rent, so that was really frustrating. And obviously when finances become a little bit tougher and you know they might have to stretch for quite a number of months, you also don't want to have to, even though we could have gone to courts with it, you don't want to spend your money going to courts against some massive, like, you know, real estate mogul that's got huge money and will just like take you for however long he wants to take you. So we just kind of had to just keep riding through. And I think there was strength that came from keeping a little bit calm and taking it day at a time. We had a lot of Zoom meetings as a team, and then with our lease holder as well. There was obviously challenges with, like, we had courses booked and things like that, but Wella was really good. It came to the party creating quite an amazing like program called Wella Waves. So we got a lot of creative education gifted to us almost, which was really lovely, and I enjoyed watching that. I think the challenge was having enough time to almost get all those great, you know, influences, like allow enough time, because there's other stuff you had to do as well. Like I couldn't just sit down and watch IGTV and watch, you know, like a live for 3 hours or something like that. So, just learning how to navigate. I felt like for the community and for my friends and family, it was the right thing to close the salon doors, like I mentioned earlier. But I think there was a moment, honestly, where I did not think I was coming back to the salon. Like I thought that if this had continued to, say, August or September, if it hadn't shown signs of improving at the end of April, in all honesty, I was planning on, because of what I had in my bank, putting my month forward with notice at the start of May. So thankfully I have been able to like get back into the salon at the start of May, and I am working within like half-hour gaps in between clients, and you know that allows people not to be crossing over too much, and you still have to tread a little bit cautiously because COVID's still around. But yeah, we have been able to get back in. But I actually mentally, I think I actually had disconnected. Like I thought I was out of there, and I was starting to think about how my new normal was going to go and what I was going to do for a job. I mean, my clients were cancelling out in March, and then obviously I cancelled everyone in April. But like I said at the start of the interview, I had clients booked until December. So when all your business is starting to disappear, you're like, oh, well, it's already going and you've worked so hard to get it. But I'm like, I was really proud of myself because it had actually been successful. But then I was also like, I would never have expected it to end like this. So I was very sad about it. And it's been funny getting back into work salon, things that as a innocent apprentice you would notice, like the shine that comes off the hair when you colour it. I've actually been in the salon, I've been like, oh my goodness, like picking up people's strands of hair and being like, that's beautiful. Like just all those innocent things. I think because I was at timeout. Like I was like I think I'd really thought I was not coming back to hairdressing for maybe until next year, you know. But yeah, I've actually been getting back into salon, and for the first time in like 18 years, actually been like, wow, look at my skills. Like I'm not too bad now. So there's been those moments where you're like, wow, I've still got it. Like probably because I don't know, it sounds really strange. And I know, like, I have confidence in my work and I know I do great work, but there is also a thing where you're like, wow, that's beautiful. It's so beautiful. But there was an element of being really sad, but also like quite excited about having some time out of the salon. And part of me thought, do I actually love my job? If you're so excited to be, you know, almost taking time out and there's all these scary things around it, and it seemed like a big hurdle to get through. I think it made me evaluate, like, think about, do I love my job or am I just doing my job? And the amount of training I did in the little shutdown timeout period, I realized I do love my job.
Yeah.
And I realized how much I enjoy it. And then getting back into the salon and being able to, you know, start working and creating colors and beautiful styles, and people coming out of COVID and they're just like, chop my hair off, and you're creating these restyles. Bit like yours, Lara. Like,
I know, right? Everyone's calling it the COVID cut. You've got a very special creative industry because you're creating with people, and like you said before, you help create people's a new vibe, you know, and I think coming out of
collaboration, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's right. And because we're coming out of quarantine and a really sort of depressing place with a big scary cloud above it, now everyone's starting to come out of it. Like people like you are in the industry now of like helping people find their new self-esteem and their new look and their new confidence and their new feeling and moving forward. What a special time.
Yeah. And there's that quote that says, like, a girl who changes her hair is about to change her life. I think that is really, really true.
Yeah.
And you think about, like, even though we, years ago when they had the depression times, if we do go into a recession, like the lipstick effect was real, like putting on a new lipstick. It's a simple little thing. Like as a makeup artist, you can change the look by having like a nude lip to like a pink look to a red lip to like just a gloss or a balm or something. So I know it's aesthetics and people are like, oh, it's such a fake industry in some respects, but there is a lot of worth in there. Like we actually genuinely care and we want people to look and feel amazing. And when people have gone through a really rough time, they want to look good as well. Like people will go through the days where they don't want to wear makeup and they don't want to do the hair and they're happy to be in their PJs and slump and be depressed for a day. Yeah. But if you want to put on your game face and make yourself feel better, a little bit of like TLC on yourself goes a really long way. So
absolutely, yeah. I couldn't relate to that more. You know me. I'm a Kiwi girl as well. Yeah. I'm used to gumboots and rainy days, and getting on the farm, and exactly. But, you know, when I was going through a breakup and I'd moved to the city, I was going through a pretty flat time, obviously. Yeah. And I've never been one for worrying too much about my hair or clothes or what I wear. And then someone said to me, I was actually working for a friend of mine and it was in the beauty industry. And she said to me, just get up every day at the same time, put on lipstick, red lipstick, and a pair of high heels. And if you have to go back to bed, so be it. But every single morning, do the same thing. Red lipstick, high heels, and brush your hair and see how you go. And honestly, every day that I got out of bed and put on my red lipstick, which I'd never owned red lipstick in my life, I actually had to go out and buy a bar of red lipstick and put on a pair of heels. Honestly, the way it made me feel was like, I can do anything. If I get out of bed and wear banging red lipstick and a pair of awesome heels, I can do anything. And that's exactly how it made me feel. And that's when I realized, like
thing, brushing your hair. Yeah, it gives you your self-worth back, you know? It
does.
Yeah.
So, with everything that's happened, is there one thing that you can sort of draw out of it that's sort of in the front of your mind?
It's a big thing. And when you sent through some questions that I needed to ponder on, I was like, oh man, that's deep. Like, I don't know how to even, like, where to start. But I think for me, there was like I said about the innocence with going back into almost my apprenticeship and like appreciating all those small things about shine on the hair or how blow dry fell, where you know your work's going to be sitting beautifully. So you kind of take it for granted. But like all those minimal things, I think appreciating the small things in life was, which I do, like I appreciate, like I'm looking outside, there's like a bird sitting on power lines out there and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. But like all those little things about, I don't know, little small things I think was really good. I have not laid on the ground and watched clouds go by since I was a child. And I laid outside and I watched the clouds go by and I listened to all the little bird chirps. And I think because we were all in shutdown, all those senses of sensory things were much more heightened. So for me, I felt like I regained balance. I felt like I regained perspective. I felt like I knew what I wanted to move forward with how I value and treasure different things. I think it was a really good chance to like reset. I love nature, so I always appreciate a sunset, and I always appreciate like little creatures. And I'm not so much a gardener, not very good at gardening. I wish I was. I appreciate gardens, but I prefer to go to a park and like look at things, or go out into like a rugged hill and go hiking for a day. And I think what was really nice was actually having time to do that, and having time that I didn't have to minimize it. Like on my days off, I will go for a run, or I like cycling, and, you know, I love being outdoors. I'm very outdoorsy, even though I'm in the beauty industry. I do love like getting out in the wilderness. And I think what was really important was I have never allowed myself time to just be free without having something to race off to on the flip side. So like things like going for a walk and like going for 2 hours was like amazing, you know, and not feeling like I had to race home. Like if I wanted to stop and sit and watch the waves crash, or if I wanted to watch like the river and, you know, watch the light reflections, all of that sort of thing, I really drew some inspo from like all of that myself, just to even bring back into the salon, and with colours moving forward and things like that. It was like a good way to like relook at things that I probably hadn't had the pleasure to actually dwell in for a little while. So for me, that was, I think this experience has made everyone really prioritise as well where they want to spend their time, what they want to do, and not thinking about other, like everyone's thought about other people and care factor, but like they haven't thought about what everyone else wants. Like we've almost been able to come back to ourselves, find our own selves, not get lost or off track, and actually moving back into the world in the new normal space, we will be able to go in and drive it in our own directions rather than in a direction that you think is what people want. Or we're not going to cave like we used to probably as creatives. Like we'll be quite selective, I think.
That's very valuable.
Absolutely.
So what's next for you? Are you back in full swing of things, or
yes, back into the salon and working. We aren't wearing masks in the salon anymore, which is really nice, so you can breathe a little bit easier. We do have them in case our client is, an immunity sensitive person that needs it or jeopardised that way. We've got hand sanitizer at the front desk all the time. We are taking gaps in between all of our clients at the moment, just out of respect for people and making them feel like they can really be trusted coming into our environment. So all the capes and the towels are like single use. They're all getting we've put a lot of measures into place just to make clients feel safe, but also we wipe and spray down the basins at the end of every single client, which is something that we would have done at the start of the day and the end of days, but we wouldn't have necessarily done in between. So we've definitely put a lot more like health safety kind of measures into place. I am working as a collective, like I said, in our shared space where we collectively are running the salon, but it's really exciting because 2 of the girls, Naomi and Billy, who are in that collective, they have decided that they actually want to venture out and start their own business venture.
Wow.
So they have the most amazing warehouse space in Myrie, and they have got that we should be there by October. So there is some excitement. So kind of thinking that your career is finishing, but then coming out, and we knew we had the lease where we are until the 1st of November. So that was also playing in the back of my mind as to whether I stay, whether I go, are we only even going to be working in November? But coming out and being back in May, and then now going into June, the girls have just signed a lease. And so that's huge for them. It's a big venture, and it's going to be like a beauty and hair hub, and it's going to be quite amazing. So it should be like a really luxe industrial space.
Wow.
They've named it after their 2 girls. So Billy's got a daughter called Lana, and Rosie is Naomi's daughter. So they've called it La Rose Hair Perth. So the Instagram has just started if you want to follow the journey, because at the moment it's like a lino clad floor. It's 145 square meters. Ceiling needs some work, needs some paint. They have an amazing vision. It's got a toilet in there. It's going to have a beauty room. I think there's like 8 stations, 4 basins. Like, it's a big project, and they're starting from scratch, but it's in a really cool, groovy area. Like, you've got bar Pilates next door. You've got an awesome, like, high-end barber next door. You've got great coffee and baristas around the corner. So it's quite a cool industrial, foodie kind of space that you would go to in an unusual spot. But we're hoping that it's going to be a destination. So
I can't wait to come visit.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited for the girls. So I'm really fortunate because I can move forward as a stylist, renting my chair. So I will then rent my chair from them, so I can still run my business as it is right now, but in this beautiful space that I'm looking forward to being in. So there's a lot of personal growth, I think, that will come from that. There'll be a lot of connections. There's a lot of businesses that we will then meet and affiliate with, I'm sure. So I'm definitely feeling more grounded. I'm feeling more like how I felt at the start of 2020. So I'm going to embrace the slower pace of life, and I'm going to focus on a few more fun things that I like doing. And
we definitely have to have a catch up soon.
I know we do.
We need a girls' night on the town.